record here. Can you guys hear that when it does that?
I did.
Okay. All right. We're hoping to avoid any technical difficulties this round. Okay, so we're gonna get started. Sylvia's on here, but Coach Anna is actually gonna be leading it with me today. What we like to do, for those of you that filled out the questionnaire, it's super helpful. We like to make these as direct to you and helpful for you as possible. Oh, there's Michelle too. And make them pretty quick. So probably 30 minutes, but we're just going to actually, I'm going to share the document of the ahas you guys had, the struggles you've dealt with, and then the questions you had. And we're just going to kind of roll through it because I'm sure maybe you didn't write something, but what someone else wrote, you'll find pertinent. Because it is such a small, intimate group, feel free when you have a question. We were just talking about this. It's so much better when you guys just stop us and ask your question. The conversation brings out much deeper, I think, feedback and conversation in general than us just talking at you. Okay, if you like to just listen, great, but feel free to stop us. Michelle Kleinberg, congratulations on making it to state. That's pretty cool. Good job. She's the head coach for Lake City High School volleyball, and they are going to state. So that's cool. Yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and get going. I'm going to share this screen really quick. All right. Sweet. Okay. All right, guys. So first off, welcome back. Glad, I hope if you are new to logging and all the things, that this week brought a lot of education and awareness to how you were eating and helped guide you into where you are now and then to where you want to get and be at. So let's go ahead and get rolling here. We started with what were some of the biggest ahas this week centered around your intake. Anna, do you want to, I'll let you kind of read them off and then I'll follow you up.
Yeah. Okay, so first one, man, I can eat more food, especially carbs. How great is that? Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you, Amy and I were actually just talking about this, just the diet culture in itself is telling you to essentially eat less and eat as little as possible to lose weight and get to your goal weight. And when a lot of people start AIM, they realize that they can eat a normal amount of food and still reach their goals. And I think carbs is a huge one because over the years, our culture has told, no carbs, no fruit. They talked about that last week. So I'm sure that was a big aha for a lot of people that you are able to eat a normal amount of food. So that's awesome. It's hard to fit all the macros in when you don't eat until the afternoon. Yeah. So pre-planning your day is huge, especially when you're first starting to track and weigh your food. So I always tell people, like when you're laying in bed the night before, either scrolling on your phone, just take 5 minutes to pre-plan your next day so you don't end up with a bunch of food that you need to eat at the end of the day, because it's either going to go uneaten because you don't want to eat, a huge bowl of white rice at 9 p.m. And you want to feel fueled throughout your day. So pre-planning your day is huge, making sure that you're eating, portioned out, well-rounded meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and having snacks in between. This is really big, especially if you're busy throughout the day and you tend to forget to eat. Pre-planning is really nice because it's just all in your app, and all you have to do is let your app tell you what to eat, weigh it out, and you're good to go. So Um, yeah.
I'll add in there, my question, the red flag I hear is, why aren't you eating until the afternoon? Um, so I would question that. And my guess would be that we need to look at your routine and maybe plan to make an adjustment there as far as eating breakfast, or eating even a few hours earlier. And it may feel weird. Maybe you're the person that's like, I never eat breakfast. Well, you're also doing the taste of aim because you want to make a change for the better. So there's a good time to do it, and that's probably now. So kind of asking yourself that question can make things a little bit easier. And then, of course, you can start eating earlier in your day, which will allow you to eat more, and not be as full towards the end of the night. And I'll also say that it's pretty common, right? That is such a common thing, to not eat, not eat, not eat, and then overeat. We see that that's probably the most common style of eating, is to fast while we're busy and then binge in the evening.
You know, along with that, I always felt like it was so much less stressful when I just went into my day knowing exactly what I had to eat, and I just ate to those numbers. Didn't have to wonder if things were going to fit. I wasn't stressed out about whether what I was choosing was going to work. I just already had it planned.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And if you are one of those people who struggle forgetting to eat breakfast, or you're rushing out of the door, like setting a timer on your phone. I know it sounds silly, but that can be a huge help. That just says eat breakfast, or eat lunch or pack lunch. That's also really helpful with water intake. I know there was a couple comments on getting enough water in your day. So just setting a couple reminders on your phone that says, drink your water or whatever. That can be a simple fix to remembering to eat or drink.
Agreed.
Next one, I've been eating way too much prior to Taste of Aim. Yeah, this may be something that a lot of people realized the first week. And I think I always tell clients in the first even couple weeks of starting AIM, that's the most important part of this process, is just having awareness of your intake. Sometimes you can go years without knowing how much you're eating, or even what it is in your food that you're eating. So the first couple weeks of tracking and weighing is really just bringing awareness to your intake, and probably making some changes to it, because you may be eating too much carbs and not enough protein, or too much fat and not enough carbs. So that awareness piece is huge.
Yeah. Agree. And I don't, maybe they were eating, again, too much they were eating only a huge dinner, and eating a very small breakfast. And so it felt like, wow, I was eating way too much because my portion was so huge, but maybe it was only so huge at one meal.
Yes.
And now they're spreading it out and they're like, whoa,
Yeah.
Okay.
That it really does make a difference if I weigh what I eat. It comes out different. Yep. Yeah. I always like the example of coffee creamer, like weighing out a tablespoon of coffee creamer, and then like actually
16 grams.
Yeah, like measuring your coffee creamer on your scale. Sometimes I have a really heavy hand and I end up pouring 30 grams of coffee creamer into my coffee. Or like peanut butter. You can't actually have a tablespoon of peanut butter. It's like a mound of peanut butter for a tablespoon. Right. So just making sure that you're weighing out your food, as opposed to like eyeing it, which honestly sometimes we have to do if we're going out to dinner, or at a gathering or something. But if you have the chance to use your scale, make sure you use it, because it does make a huge difference.
And I'll add two things to that. One is, the cool thing about macros first is that it allows you to weigh and log everything. I found like one or two things of everything that I've ever logged in there in grams. So if you guys have not played around with that and figured out how to change it from one serving or whatever it says and change it to grams, make sure you do that because you can log everything in grams. Does everybody know how to do that? Okay. Okay. That's important. Um, and then, oh, the other thing I wanted to say was if you're a novice, if you've never weighed your food, um, go all in right now and try to weigh everything. You know, like Anna said, when you're eating out and stuff, you can start eyeballing everything. If you're a novice and you're just starting out with macros, spend the month, like give yourself the month to be as intentional as possible so you can learn as much as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not eating enough calories. Do you want me to go through all of them, Amy, or should we
I
kind
don't
of?
care. I
Okay.
mean, we can just, yeah, whatever.
Okay. Um, yeah, let's go balancing out 3 macro groups through the day instead of being too top heavy at the beginning or the end. Yeah, so we kind of touched on that a little earlier, but again, this is why pre-planning is really nice. And in macros, first, you can see the breakdown of each meal, which is really, really helpful. So you can tell, you know, if you're having too much in breakfast and then you don't have enough for dinner, or vice versa. So it's really nice to see the breakdown of every meal, so you understand that you're having balanced meals throughout the day. I think in my Fitness Pal, you had to pay for unlimited for that, so that's a big plus for macros first.
Yeah, and don't, if you haven't tried it yet, if you're having a hard time with that, take all your macros and divide them by 3. And then just think of in each third of my day, I need to have consumed a third of my macros. And that doesn't need to be in each meal, like 3 meals, but you know, from 7 a.m. to 11, you're going to eat this third of food. And then from 11 to 4, you're going to eat this amount. And then from 4 till night or till bedtime, you finish it out with that. And you, if you chunk your macros and day like that, that's another way to help balance everything out.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Getting enough protein. I'm sure a lot of people struggled with this. That's a very, very common aha when you first start tracking macros. I would say my biggest tip for this is to get creative, branch out and try different protein options that you maybe haven't really put in your diet before, or maybe were too scared to put in your diet because you viewed it as bad or you know, not good. So, you know, trying out cottage cheese and Greek yogurt and different kinds of protein sources like fish or anything like that. So I would say branch out, get creative, try not to stick to, you know, the
Chicken.
dried chicken and ground turkey, which are not bad. You can do very many things with that, but branch out because there are plenty of other options to get in good protein.
Yeah, and if you just challenge yourself to like, okay, we ate chicken last night, we're not eating it again. So then we can eat ground turkey, then we can eat pork, then we can eat shredded, whatever. You know, we can do a London broil, and we can do fish. All those things can be served very simply, but that way you're not getting stagnant for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna turn into burnout, and we hear that all the time. I'm tired of eating turkey and cottage cheese and zucchini. It's like, well, duh, right? It's gnarly. No one wants to eat just that forever.
Yeah. I don't have to go hungry. So great.
Right?
The amount of fats I was supposed to eat was okay. Awesome. Yeah, you may realize that the macros that you were eating before were pretty close, which is great. How much snacking I do at work. Yeah. It's funny when, you know, you're either in the zone or you're busy and you don't realize how much grazing you do throughout the day. And maybe you're not eating full meals. You're just ending up, you know, grabbing your kids' meals from the table as you're rushing out the door, or, you know, grabbing stuff from the break room or whatever it is. So this, again, just brings so much awareness to your intake and how much you were eating before.
I personally don't have a lot of rules around nutrition, but I'm sure my AIM crew can be very, can tell you exactly what one of my main rules is, and that is no snacking. I am just a no snack, no appetizer person. I feel like it's just empty calories, no matter what, right? Like if there's just chips or whatever it is, it's always only going to be typically one macro, right? It's only going to be carbs, or it's never going to be a protein, carb, fat, great combination. Then you're not really hungry for the meal that you just prepared. It's just, you can overeat in calories so easily when your hand enters a bag. It's just, you're just setting yourself up. So cutting out snacking alone. Sometimes I tell people, like, don't do anything but cut out snacking alone, and it's going to solve a lot of your life's problems.
Mm, yeah. You can't eat just one Oreo, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Most days I'm not eating enough food and how bad some foods are. Yeah. So just that awareness piece is huge. Tracking water intake, carbs, and when I eat them matter for my body. Yeah. So um, when you eat certain foods, especially if you're exercising, getting movement in the day, is really important. It's probably not as important for you guys right now. Mostly we're just focusing on getting your numbers in and being consistent and hitting your target numbers. Um, but if you really feel like you want some more information on when you should be eating certain foods around, probably most around movement especially, then you can ask your coach during your next check-in, and I'm sure they'd love to give you some of that information.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. What was the biggest struggle you came across as you transitioned into a new way of eating? Getting my water in and managing my time to get in breakfast and lunch. Yeah, again, this is just making it a priority. You know, you signed up for this challenge, and it's time to make yourself and your nutrition a priority, and that's why you signed up for this. So um, do whatever you have to do to get your water intake in and to make sure you're eating breakfast and lunch, whether that's setting the timer on your phone, or making sure that you're sitting down while you're eating, even if it's for 5 minutes. Just sit down on your floor, wherever it is, and eat your meal. That way it doesn't go uneaten, by 3 p.m. or whatever. I think that's a big helpful tip.
Yeah. And if I know Coach Michelle and I've talked a lot about this, even for her sake. Like, if you know your morning is going to be hectic, the night before needs to be your go-to time to prep your lunch and make sure you know what you're going to have for breakfast. And you're not going to want to get up at 7 p.m. from the couch to go into the kitchen and prep your food for tomorrow. You're not going to want to make your lunch. You're not going to want to make sure that you have breakfast stuff, but you need to do it, right? Do it then, so that in the morning it's easy. Then you have your lunch, you grab it, and you're ready to go. And you're so thankful that you spent the 15 minutes at 7 p.m. to do that, instead of feeling super hectic and on defense all day long because you're being reactive to your food,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And if you don't want to do it at 7 p.m., you're definitely not going to want to do it in the morning. So just get up
right.
at 7 p.m. and do it then, so then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
mean,
that's a
I
lot.
was say I'd chime in on that. Yeah, it's just like it is so helpful. And then it also helps like if you're one of those that is busy or like you are falling behind on your food. Like I know that the food I prep to take to school, it has to be eaten before, I have last period prep. So I get to come home and eat a snack before I go back for volleyball practice. So I know that the food that I take to school, it needs to be eaten by then. I have a certain amount that I allot for that in between slot, right? And so on kind of helps you, like Coach Amy and I work a lot on me like chunking my day and prioritizing things at different times. And if I did not do that, I think I would fall behind merely because the day gets away from you.
I think that's a cool way to that's like a commitment device too, right? Where you log and you pack all that food and you have it logged, and you're like, I know by the time I get home, all that food needs to be eaten. And you don't have to worry about it then. You don't have to worry about where to get your food, what you need to have eaten. It's like, it's right there. And you just know at some point before you get home, I need to eat all that. Makes it really easy.
Mm-hmm. Next one, planning meals. I need to pre-plan a few days ahead instead of winging it. Yes, you do.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
pre-planning is huge. We talked about that. Trying to figure out correct macro count when I ate out. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. So just honestly do the best you can. And I think it's mostly making the best choice from the menu that you have. So rather than having the mentality of, I'm going to eat out, I might as well just like throw away this whole evening and, order a milkshake, a burger, and fries. Choose the best option that's going to be the best for you, that's going to, fulfill you and your body and nourish yourself. So don't try not to have anxiety around eating out, which is actually very common when you first start counting macros, is thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to know, how many protein, carbs, and fat are in this salad, so I'm just not going to go. No, we want you to enjoy friends and family and those gatherings. So just try to simplify it, choose the best option that's going to nourish you, and just guesstimate and add it to your day and move on.
And on the flip side of that, you can have a meal out that goes untracked or unlogged, but don't let that become an entire day of being untracked or unlogged, because if you're not perfect, you might as not try.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can still do a really good job 2/3 of your day and then go pick the best option in that situation and finish your day being like, I did a good job. I did a good job. We see a lot of that all or nothing, like, well, I know I'm going to dinner and I don't know how to log it, so I'm not even gonna log the whole day. It's like, well, let's look at it in meals versus days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good.
And
To add on to that, Anna, I was just going to say a lot of times it's not that one meal that'll wreck your plan. It's what you eat around that meal. So if I know I'm going to go out, then making sure that I have a high protein, lots of vegetables, a good breakfast early on. What I eat ahead of that meal can be just as important as the meal itself.
And I'm going to piggyback even more on that, is a lot of people will do, I'm going to say, what they'll do is they'll like they'll have a breakfast and then they'll fast because they know they're going to eat out. So then they fast for 4 or 5 hours leading up to this dinner. And instead of going into it with like a very controlled, satisfied brain, they go into it ravishing and completely wackadoodle. And so then they have this irrational brain because they're starving, and then they order everything, and they had a plan and their plan went out the window.
a blackout.
Yep, you black out. Yes, high protein, lots of fruits and veggies, whatever, but don't not eat going out to dinner. Sometimes I like eat as I'm going out to dinner so I can make a good choice. Because if I'm hungry at a restaurant, you're going to pick the thing that looks good, not the thing that looks best in the moment for you and your goals.
Okay, logging macros for recipes. Amy, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, for one, if you have a ton of recipes in MyFitnessPal, that is what you used for a long time. What I've been doing for macros first is I just go over and look at the breakdown of it, the protein, carb, fat, fiber, and calories that's already built in there. And I just make a my food in macros first. Takes like 2 seconds. That's been helpful. And then I would also just say that don't overwhelm yourself with building recipes right now if, again, you're a novice macro tracker. Okay, there are different levels of macro tracking. Sylvia is an expert, right? She's been doing this for several years. She loves making macro-friendly recipes. Like it's her livelihood, it's her jam, right? So goes in and builds recipes, and it's fine because she's an expert at this. But if you're brand new to this and you're still learning what has what for protein, carb, and fat, maybe building recipes in macros first is just too high level at the moment, right? Maybe just bring it back a notch and stick with layering your food, stick with just separates, I know it might sound boring, but it's 30 days, and I'd rather you not stress yourself out and just learn the basics. And then pretty soon you're going to be, become competent. And over time, you're going to be an expert, and building recipes and macros first isn't going to be a deal, it'll be easy peasy. But don't bog yourself down with feeling like you have to do tricky stuff right now. That was my main thing.
And I know maybe we mentioned this last week, but like cooking in bulk and having multiple options for each macro is really helpful, because you can just mix and match and make meals with those things. So like if I make 3 proteins, 3 carbs, and 3 veggies, I can mix all of those up throughout the week and make multiple different things and even add in stuff, and not have to build a recipe off of that. So you still have some variety, but you're not worrying about multiple different ingredients for each meal.
Right. Yeah, really good. Eating enough protein, I think we touched on that, didn't we?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, getting over the mental hurdle of being able to eat as much on a diet, and then changing my mentality to this isn't a diet, it's a meal plan. Yeah, man, you guys, we want you to enjoy food. We want you to be eating, as much food as you can while still working toward your goals. And that's a hard shift for some people to get on board with. So sometimes that mental shift can be tough, and but it's worth the effort to kind of get over that whole hurdle to enjoy food again. So
I think that goes back to the diet culture too, right? It's kind of it's ingrained in us. It's just put in our face, polarized over and over again, that if you want to be lean and if you want to be lean, right, then you need to not eat carbs, and you should hardly eat any calories. I mean, that's just in our face nonstop, and that's not okay. That's not right. And we always go back to saying that you deserve to eat more than 1,200 calories a day, right? No one can sit there and be like, "Oh, I was meant to only eat 1,200 calories a day." No. And so I think pushing back and allowing yourself to think about the quality of food that you're eating, the consistency in which you're eating your food, taking into account those things versus the amount of food you're eating is super important.
not exploring new recipes, we kind of touched on that.
Yeah.
Logging everything.
Yeah.
Transitioning. Transitioning to macros first. I'm sure some people came in using MyFitnessPal, and that may be a tough switch, but man, macros first is gold. And just like the diet thing, it may be a little hurdle to get over, but hopefully once you get in a couple weeks of using it, it will be worth it.
I'll just say, and I don't even know, like you were saying that it was, you had to pay the membership in MyFitnessPal, but one thing for me personally, as I've taken my nutrition a step further when I was training for the games or whatever, is I was able to even add in there like my performance or my training fuel as a separate category. I've had clients add in alcohol as a separate category, sweet treats as a separate category. That way they can visually see, and I can visually see the breakdown in which their calories are coming in, not even just breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, but you can even get a little bit more fine-tuned if you're there, right? Like, how many sweets am I actually taking in a day? And you can put that in there, and anything you have that is a sweet treat, you can log it, and you might be like, whoa, I didn't realize that I have 7 things logged under my sweet treats category. Anyway, that's a cool tool. I don't know if anybody else uses that, but I like it.
Okay.
Not having a drink every night.
Yeah.
Habitual.
Yep.
That's it's habit, right? We are habitual humans, I think, and one of the hardest things to do is to break habits and find new habits. But it happens. And it takes 2 days of a new habit, or 2 days of doing the same thing to start forming a new habit. Like, that's pretty amazing. That's not that long. That means that you can build momentum pretty quickly as long as you can fight for those first few days.
Mm-hmm.
Just
And
remember
that could be, doesn't have to be a drink. That could be anything that,
that.
you have before you go to bed that has just become a habit in your life.
Yep.
Okay. So let's move on to the questions. So what is one topic you would like us to cover at this week's live? Using vitamins and supplements, and which ones can you recommend? Yeah, so Amy and I were just talking about this. As we, go through this challenge, the goal and the hope is to, bring awareness to the type of food you're eating and to hopefully make some changes to the type of food. So hopefully we're switching to more fresh, whole, nutrient-dense foods that you're going to get most of the, vitamins and minerals that your body needs. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend any vitamins or supplements to take on a regular basis if you're getting those things from your food, and which you should be. And now, of course, there's things like vitamin C and vitamin D in the wintertime, when we don't have as much sun, and
Fish oil.
fish oil, and, all of those sorts of things that, your body may benefit from. But as far as other supplements, BCAAs or anything like that, we're not going to recommend those to you guys at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we would need more, right? That's very individualized, depending on what you have going on. But eat whole foods.
Yep.
Fish oil would be something I was saying that, like, kind of broad across the board. We probably don't. It's pretty normal for us to be out of balance, out of ratio with our omega-6s and our omega-3s. And so fish oil can be a great addition if you're not somebody who eats fish on a regular basis, which more often, fatty fish, which more often than not, if you're not eating salmon at least once a week, you're probably not getting in enough omega-3s. But
yeah, so next one, meal planning and recommendations for recipes, cookbooks, or meal services. I know Amy has a couple meal services to mention, but I do want to mention Lily Eats and Tells. She's the best. All of her recipes are counted out, so they're all macro friendly. She has a ton on her website, so you guys should definitely check her out. Like tons of variety, and she doesn't just keep it simple. She has some great things on her website, and I think she actually has a couple cookbooks too that maybe some of the coaches have, but she's really great.
yeah, definitely. I just had, if you're local, there's, for the meal services, I have clients that use the Lean Kitchen Company. I have, there's one called Rosie Joe Meals, and it's a online one. They're not from around here, but they they ship every Friday or something like that. And then there's another one in Coeur d'Alene, again, if you're local, that's called Prepped, PREP''D, Prepped CDA. And she does individual meals, and she also does family style meals. The thing with her, though, is she doesn't break down her macro counts, but she does all whole, she makes all the food. It's all from scratch. It looks very balanced. So that is also something just to take note of and maybe have in your back pocket. Yeah. A lot of people, I think, use Lean Kitchen Company. Yeah. And go to our website. I mean, our website, AIM Nutrition Coaching, we're getting a pretty good stockpile of recipes. So the meatball one is bomb, yam wreck, some of these ones that are long lasting throughout, that you can use over and over throughout the week. Those are helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, so how to calculate alcohol again. Yeah, just a recap from last week. There is did Macros first come out with that alcohol tracking app? Did I see that?
Just, oh, I don't know. Just size. I know Seismic does, but
Okay, maybe Seismic. Yeah, so they have an app or what is it called? Tool you can use on Seismic. And then if you're just doing it and inserting it into Macros first, you're going to, if you want to split it up in your, like if you want to track some as carbs and some as fat, you're just going to divide it by the amount of calories in that macro. So you can, if you have a drink that you, that is your go-to, then you can just add that in and continue to use that over and over again.
yeah, I would, yeah, those, if you ever truly every night or whatever, then just put it in as a my food as 25 carbs. That way you can log it every night or on the weekends.
Maybe not every night.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what you do, then it's a way to log it.
Easy ways to incorporate fruits and veggies. Man, just make it a habit. Takes 2 days. I would say for veggies, stir fries is an awesome way to get in veggies. Just like throw in a bunch of veggies in a pan, throw in a meat and a carb, some coconut aminos, and you've got a delicious stir fry. Like breakfast stir fries are awesome if you want to, throw in some peppers and zucchini and cabbage, spinach with your eggs and bacon. Just try and get in variety with your veggies. Try not to eat, broccoli every day for lunch and dinner, and like it's gonna get old and you're probably gonna have gas, but like try and mix it up with your veggies. Just get some variety in. Fruits, like snacks, fruits is a great way or a great option for snacks. Grab an apple, grab a banana, whatever. Just try and get them in.
Yeah, I would add in just those mini, I know for quick lunches and for my kiddos and stuff, I'd buy like the mini cucumbers, mini carrots, cherry tomatoes, anything. Oh, the mini bell peppers, literally, apparently a bunch of mini stuff. Because it's super easy to weigh. And then if you buy those hummus pouches or hummus packs or guacamole, I mean, any of that, right? It's so easy. You have a dip, you have your veggies. If people aren't big veggie eaters, sometimes having a dip helps them to eat the veggie. And then making sure that you reserve a spot on your plate, no matter the meal, for a vegetable. Take a marker and be like veggies only in this spot. But making sure that you reserve a spot on your plate for a vegetable. Check it every time. See if it's there.
Yeah. You know what else? I also think the big misconception is that frozen vegetables or canned vegetables aren't allowed, and they are. So they make a lot of steamer vegetables that you can, heat up quickly and throw some chicken on, and then you're done. So you are allowed to eat frozen and canned vegetables as well. I've heard that quite a bit.
Cool. And like stew,
yeah,
soup season. I don't log things like avocado spray, coffee, black coffee, mustard. Nope. Yeah, you don't need to worry about those right now, or really ever. Like LaCroix doesn't have any macros. Don't worry about it. Most of that stuff you're good with. Yeah.
Just want to track it as your water intake to make sure you're getting in your water.
Yep. Try to keep it simple. Should we track vitamins? Gummy vitamins have carbs.
Yeah, I'll answer that because I'm also 12 and eat calcium gummies. I think I eat them because they're like sugar coated and they're really good. But I eat them every morning, and I think they have like 12 carbs in them. They're just in my breakfast thing. But yeah, I mean, 12 carbs is kind of a lot.
Yeah. But they're delicious.
Yeah. I apparently won't give them up. So yeah, they bring value.
Staying motivated when the scale isn't moving. Yeah, and this is a tough one. I would say stay in your own lane. It's really hard when you see other people, just shedding off weight and your scale hasn't moved. But I think one of the biggest things is if you're fixating on your weight, and that's the only thing you're fixating on, it's not going to change. So fixate on the things that are going to, that are going to help you and get you to your goals. So, your water intake, consistency, food intake, sleep, exercise, movement, self-care, because those are the things that you can control. You can't control your weight by just fixating it and focusing on it, because it's not going to change if that's what you're doing. So everyone's going to be different. Every body is different. Every metabolism is different. So your journey is going to be different than everyone else's. So just try and focus on the things you can control, and try and stay positive. Like you're making yourself a priority, and that's something that you should be excited and happy about. So yeah.
And I would just add to make sure that you're looking at what else can you focus on? Like how's your energy? How's your performance? How's your mood? What's your skin look like? Like, how are your clothes fitting?
Yeah.
There's tons of other measurements of success aside from the scale. And if you're only focused on the scale, then I would probably say that you're missing the point of all of this. There's a lot more there than just having the scale move. So make sure you know the point of all of this, or like Anna said, it's actually not going to work, and you're going to be pretty let down.
Yeah, I get so many check-ins of like, man, I felt so good in the gym today, and my clothes were fitting really well, and I had so much energy with my kids today. And then at the end it's like, but man, I'm bummed the scale isn't moving. And I'm like, hold on, let's go read those 5 things that you just listed that are incredible and you should be so excited about. So trying to find the things that are changing and working is really important.
Yeah, it's great.
Let's see.
Sources to add: protein with low fat, light dairy, like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, ham, turkey, lunch meat. What am I missing?
Greek yogurt. I don't know if you said that.
Pork, tuna, fish.
Yeah, shrimp is like just
shrimp. Yeah, seafood, of course. Yeah. Much protein. Oh, this one. I know how much protein is important, but do I have to hit my carb if I am not hungry? Yes.
Yeah. So if this is happening, then you're probably saving too many macros for the end of the day. So I was talking about this earlier. There's going to be a point in your day where you are hungry. So let's move those macros to that time so you do get them in. So you're not having to end up at the end of the day with macros that go uneaten. So if you are maybe having a smaller breakfast and you're having to eat lunch a little earlier because you're hungry, let's make your breakfast bigger. So then that'll sustain you to lunch a little bit longer, and you're not, having those macros left over. So just try and spread out your macros a little bit more throughout the day to make it a little more balanced, or maybe add a snack somewhere, or something like that to spread out those numbers so they're not ending up at the end of your day.
And as a reminder, yes, you need to eat them, because the ultimate goal is to be as consistent as possible, to offer your body the same amount of calories day after day after day. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the ultimate goal. That's when our body will thrive. And so if you're not eating them and then eating them some days and not other days, right, you're missing the point of being consistent as well.
Yep.
I find that some people too, it's like, well, they prioritize their protein because they have a good relationship with protein, and then they put off their carbs because they villainize carbs, when the reality is those things are actually identical calorically wise. So Like, stop making carbs bad and thinking that you're getting ahead of the game by constantly staying under, but cramming your day with protein, because protein's good and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was very
That's a
well
good
said.
point.
Yeah, very good. Let's open this up. Quick food options for people. We talked about that. Super busy schedules.
Yep. Yeah. Lily Eason tells you can check out a meal service or just pre-plan, do some meal prep.
Coach Heather had a whole stories on our Instagram about having mom hustle and how she navigated all of yesterday, where she like literally left at 10 a.m. and didn't get home until like 11 p.m. at night. If you haven't watched that, it's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Tips for nutrition in women who are older: quality. Eat all your food and make sure it's quality food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's across the board, whether you're young or old, but eat all your food and make sure it's quality. Yeah. Anything else there, Anna?
No, yeah, I would say get variety in. Don't feel like you have to keep it at. I think that's one thing I've learned is some people get fixated on only eating, specific things. It's the diet culture. So just make sure you get in variety that's quality and fresh and whole, and get it all in.
That's great. All right, let's open it up for questions real quick, and then we'll set you guys free. This is called wait time, where everybody smiles awkwardly and doesn't make eye contact. I'm gonna look down and everywhere but straight. That's awesome. Okay, so we don't have any questions. All right, we solved all the world's problems. Boom, you guys are done. Nailed it. Okay, well, here's your deal. Hopefully some of you have probably already received your check-ins. Some people might be getting them tomorrow. That's awesome. Hopefully you are writing a nice thorough check-in for your coach to respond to you. And we'll keep cruising, right? Week 1 is pretty easy. Week 2, I think, is pretty easy. But by the end of week 2, a lot of people start feeling the wear and tear of being committed to something for an extended period of time. And their brain will start pushing back a little bit, would be my guess. I deserve to go out. I'm doing such a good job. I should get blank, some sort of reward. Let's go back to what I said before about rewarding yourself with the goal that you have in mind, right? If that's what you truly want, then you deserve that. So let's keep working for that ultimate goal there. Okay. Otherwise, great job. Thanks for being on here. Good crew. And we're excited to see you guys next Monday. Next Sunday's Halloween. So we're going to bypass Halloween and then we'll meet on Monday night, if that's all right. Okay. Okay, cool, everybody. All right, have a great night. Bye, Anna. Good job. Thank you. Feel better.
Thank you.
Bye.